name is Laura Meeks. I am the 3rd Vice Commander of AMVETS Post 66. And I welcome you here to this first part of our celebration, which is the celebration of our friend Daryl James, who has made his transition. So all of us at Post 66 want to welcome Jack James. Raise your hand. Jack is Daryl's cousin. His partner David Whitworth was not able to make it today, but Jack is here to receive all the gifts that we are going to bring forward. And I do want to let you know that we have loved having Daryl in our life, and we miss him, as I'm sure you do. So in honor of Daryl, we want to present a memorial wreath, which is on its way. Due to technical difficulties, it is on its way. So it'll be here before we go, and we will present that to you at the end. At this time, I want to bring up AMVETS Post 66, founder and commander, Mr. Tom Swan Hernandez.
Thank you, Laura. My comments, eulogy for Daryl, he wanted me to speak at his memorial service. And I met Daryl in 1998, when I first moved to the desert. And he was a friend for 21 years, actually. And a very good friend, and he said I was a mentor to him, and actually he was a mentor to me. He told me a lot about the desert when I moved here in 1998. And Daryl was, Leon James, was born on May 13th, 1926, in Wheaton, Illinois. May 13th is a special day for Catholics because that's the anniversary of the Fatima apparition, first Fatima apparition in Portugal. And Daryl was very fond of the Virgin Mary. He was a newspaper boy in Wheaton, Illinois, and he sold the most newspaper subscriptions 2 summers in a row. And he won trips to New York City, where he went to the World's Fair, and he also went to Washington, D.C. He remembers Pearl Harbor vividly. He was a teenager. He remembers Pearl Harbor vividly. He didn't know where it was. He remembers that day very vividly, and he decided he wanted to join the Navy. And so he enlisted on Adolph Hitler's birthday, April 20th, 1944, in the U.S. Navy. He was a communications technician, 3rd class, and he was stationed on the U.S.S. Midway for a short time, and also in Guam. He was also in World War II. His high school buddy, Frank Moulton, was killed by a Japanese sniper in the Battle of Luzon, Philippines, when MacArthur returned to the Philippines in 1944. Frank Moulton was Daryl's childhood, teenage high school buddy who was gay, and he was killed in that battle of World War II. That made Daryl very sad, and he talked about Frank Moulton throughout the rest of his life. He memorialized him. We named our post after AMVETS. After AMVETS Post 66, we named it after Frank Moulton. He was an Army soldier, and he was killed tragically in World War II. Daryl got out of the Navy after the war. He was still in the Navy Reserve, but he went to the University of Iowa. He got a degree in advertising, journalism advertising. He got a degree, and he worked in that field his whole rest of his life. He, after he graduated from Iowa, University of Iowa, he was still in the Navy Reserve, and President Truman recalled all reservists to go back to active duty during the Korean War. And so during the Korean War, Daryl was stationed in Guam, and which was a starting point for troops going to Korea. So he was very active there. Daryl moved to California and lived in Los Angeles, and he moved there in 1952. And I remember hearing Adlai Stevenson speak at the Hollywood Angel Stadium in Hollywood when he was running for president in 1952. Of course, Eisenhower won that election. Daryl then he knew a lot of the famous TV stars, movie stars in Los Angeles. He was very active in Los Angeles, and he moved back to Chicago for a short time to take care of his parents. And then he moved back to 1975. He moved back to California, and this time he settled in Malibu. And he was very active in Malibu. He helped Malibu become a city. And he had a beautiful home on the mountain there above the ocean. And entertained a lot of nice friends, and had a good job, and was very happy, and he knew baseball player Tim McCarver, who played for St. Louis, the Cardinals. He knew Chuck Finley, who played for the Angels, and he knew some other stars. Let me read the list here. He knew Gene Autry. He knew Rock Hudson. He knew Jack Lemmon. He knew Shelley Winters. He knew Frank Allison. He was very close to them, the TV stars, when he was in Malibu. 1975, he came to Palm Springs, opened the first gay hotel in the Warm Sands area of Palm Springs, 1975. Then he built a home at Pinion Crest above Palm Springs, above Palm Desert and Pinion Crest. He had a beautiful home there for many years. Then he moved back to Palm Springs. Daryl was president of the Palm Springs Gay Tourism Guild, and he noticed that at that time, Sonny Bono was the congressman, and Daryl noticed that the Palm Springs, when tourists came to Palm Springs and got a postcard, and they mailed it back home to the East Coast, the mail system was not putting Palm Springs postmark on the postcard or the letter. And Daryl thought that was important, that the Palm Springs postmark be on the letter or the postcard from a tourist when he mailed their letter back home. So he ordered Sonny Bono to go to the post office and get them to start putting Palm Springs back on the mail postmark, Palm Springs. After Sonny died, Daryl was very close to Representative Mary Bono Mack for many years. But in 2012, he did a TV commercial for Raul Ruiz, who beat Mary Bono for Congress because Mary Bono had voted against Medicare, and Daryl was in that television commercial. He was vice president of the Palm Springs Gay Veterans when I was the president. He was AMVETS treasurer, adjutant, and commander. He was the treasurer of the committee, AMVETS, that dedicated America's first Gay Veterans Memorial in Missouri City in 2001. And then when we made this memorial a state memorial in 2019, he was the person that decided the bronze plaque that we had on the memorial. He designed it. The California LGBTQ Veterans Memorial. Daryl designed that plaque. The bronze plaque is on the memorial. It's very beautiful. When Daryl was commander of AMVETS Post 66, he and I went to President Ford's office in Rancho Mirage. We spent 45 minutes with President Ford, presented him with an award. And President Ford was a charter member of AMVETS in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And President Ford spent 45 minutes with us and talked about how his destroyer sank the most Japanese submarines in World War II. Daryl was also a member of the Alexander Hamilton Post, the American Legion, was 448 in San Francisco. He was a member of the Disabled American Veterans in Palm Springs. He was a member of Veterans for Peace. He was a member of the Desert Veterans Memorial Association. And he was chairman of the Riverside County Veterans Advisory Committee, appointed by late Supervisor Roy Wilson. And we went to AMVETS National Convention in Louisville, Kentucky, and Daryl presented an award with me to Miss America. He honored Pearl Harbor survivors and Tuskegee Airmen that lived in our area. He was very fond of them and liked talking to them. He was a member of the Unity Church in Palm Springs when Ann was the pastor before she passed away. And then Bloom in the Desert Church in Palm Springs, Reverend Kevin Johnson, he was very close to him. He went to that church. He also went to the Episcopal Church in Palm Desert when President Ford was still alive. In 2017, we presented him with the Silver Helmet Award, which was the Member of the Year in AMVETS Post 66. We presented that at Bloom in the Desert Church in Palm Springs. He wrote 2 books. He wrote a book of poetry, which is available on Amazon, plus a book called about his life journey, and that's also on Amazon. They're two very good books. June of 2019, he was honored by State Senator Jeff Stone with the Veteran Service Award for 2019. And honored by Riverside County Supervisor Manuel Perez this year for being an AMVETS Express volunteer driver. That was right before he died. Daryl passed away on October 22nd, 2019, and We had a memorial service for him at Nicolino's Italian restaurant, and I'm happy to say AMVETS National wrote this thanks letter saying they're sorry he passed away, and national headquarters in Latham, Maryland has a carillon, which is a big bell system, and they have this certificate here on Memorial Day, May 25th, 2020, at 12 noon Eastern Time. They're going to ring the bell for Daryl James, in memory of Daryl James. And this is the certificate and picture of the carillon at Latham, Maryland, the national headquarters of AMVETS. And I miss Daryl very much, and sorry he's gone, but he lived a good, full life. He lived to be 93, and he accomplished a lot, and many times we wanted to give up. You know, we thought life was too tough, and Daryl told us to persevere, and we did. We were successful, so I'm very grateful to Daryl. I miss him a great deal. I want to add that we're going to name the Silver Helmet Award, which is our Member of the Year, in AMVETS Post 66, after Daryl James. So that from now on, the award will be called the Daryl James Silver Helmet Award in AMVETS Post 66 for our Member of the Year. And I'm just here today to present the in memoriam certificate from the National Commander. It says for Daryl James. So here's your certificate from AMVETS National Commander. We're sorry that Daryl passed away. Thank you. Here, we have this from Representative Robert Weeks.
Okay, so here's our next gift to you. This is a certificate of congressional recognition presented to Daryl James in memory of your faithful service to the nation during World War II. On behalf of the California's 36th Congressional District, thank you for your sacrifice to our country in the U.S. Navy, and your veterans advocacy and your service throughout the communities of Coachella Valley. This is presented by our House of Representatives, Raul Ruiz. So I present that to you. Okay, so next. This is from Chad Mays, California State Legislature, in memoriam honoring the life of Daryl James, in whose memory we pay tribute and reverence on this date, December 7th, 2019. The State Assembly, May 1st, expresses their deep sympathy, and again, from our state legislator, Chad Mays.
There's a letter. You want to read the letter?
Yeah, I'm going to skip reading the letter. Now, I do have
There's a letter.
the American Legion.
There it is.
Okay, I have it too.
Okay.
This is a letter from the American Legion, Alexander Hamilton Post 448. Greetings and salutations. On behalf of the members and the officers of this post, I would like to extend the heartfelt proclamation to you, Daryl James. Your life has been an inspiration not only to the fellow Legion members, but to the veterans throughout the armed forces and the nations of this world. Your personal sacrifice and dedication to the cause of freedom is not merely by your participation in numerous national and state parades, but memorial services and dedications as well. Your reputation is forthright and grounded. You are a remarkable American. This is on behalf of Mario Benfield, Commander Alexander Hamilton Post 448. So, San Francisco. So this is the spot where we're going to have some spiritual aspect to Daryl, because Daryl was a very spiritual person. And so I'm gonna just say a couple things, and then I'm gonna read the 23rd Psalm. That will put us all into the energy, because Daryl is here, and I want you to know, in my spiritual tradition, I know that Daryl still exists. Daryl is still here in our memories.
Thank you so much.
And as such, I know that he's in a wonderful, loving, celebratory spot and he no longer faces the earthly challenges that you and I are facing. So I take joy in knowing that he's safe and he's still with us. And in his tradition, I am now going to read the 23rd Psalm, which many of you are very familiar with. The Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. At this time, I would like to bring up Jack James, if you would like to share a few words about Daryl.
You've all done too well already. This group was vital in Daryl's life, and it was the major point in his last years, believe me. Everything connected to the veterans and the AMVETS and other organizations that he was involved in, it made his life in his later years. And for that, I thank you people, because without you, he wouldn't have had that driving force to make his last years worthwhile. And I thank you for that.
We do have a couple minutes left before we go into the World War II celebration. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to come up and reflect on Daryl while we're here?
Hi, my name is Dennis Odell.
Hi, Dennis.
I'm a retired federal criminal investigator from the Department of Veterans Affairs. And I met these three musketeers that helped me bring AMVETS into the 21st century. Because I was a state commander when these three people come to see me. And that was Tom, Daryl James, and Charlie Sharples. They wanted an AMVETS post out here in this valley. And they wanted it so the gay and lesbian community could be seen and be heard as veterans, which they deserved. I said, well, just open the post. You're veterans, aren't you? That's all I care about. So I chartered their post. And I told them it's not a gay post, it's a veterans post. It's for every single veteran that ever served this country, and you deserve everything you have coming to you. Everything. You deserve it. And by God, it's been 20 some odd years now I've been serving these veterans, and we're still losing. And I'm ashamed of the Veteran Affairs, because we have to keep pushing them just to get what we want for our veterans. And Daryl James was one of them people that amazed me. Tom too, and Charlie Sharples, wherever he's at, I just can't get over these three people. Why they came to me, I don't know. They just should have started their post, but I understand now. It took me a while. There's people that just think that we should be off in the corner and hid away, and yeah, you fought, but you don't have nothing to say. But they certainly did, and they said a lot.
You took some heat for that too, didn't you?
Oh, I took a lot of heat from the National. I said, are you people crazy? They should sue us if we don't let them be veterans. They fought for this country. They deserve everything that any other veteran got. And you shouldn't be calling them nasty names or anything else. Just give them what they have coming to them. And by God, I'll speak for you anytime you want me to. Because I appreciate you. And I thank Tom and Charlie and Daryl James especially, and God be with you older veterans. I hope I live a few more years to see you all get what you really have coming to you, because God, I don't think we're going to win unless we fight a lot harder. So thank you very much for your time.
Dennis Odell, Department Commander, AMVETS. See, at this time I have Darren Schimmer come up. He's from the office of Manny Perez, who's the supervisor of the 4th District, Riverside County. So we have another representative to bring you another certificate.
Thank you, Laura, and I'm Darren Schimmer, and I represent Riverside County Supervisor Manuel Perez, and I thank you, Tom Swan Hernandez, for the opportunity to give tribute and honor to Daryl James, and to remember his life. I had the opportunity to hear from Daryl at the dedication of the California LGBTQ Veterans Memorial just this past April. And I was very moved by what he said as he shared his experiences in growing up in Illinois and volunteering to serve our country in World War II, and what meaning that the monument had. And he served in World War II, and he also served our nation in the Korean War. And following his service, he had the opportunity to hear from Adlai Stevenson on the campaign trail, and certainly throughout his life would meet presidents and many elected officials in doing what he cared about, which was helping his fellow veterans. And he contributed to the incorporation of a city, an incorporation effort, and in the and he was a business owner in the Coachella Valley. And in the during the tenure of Supervisor Roy Wilson, he served on the Riverside County Veterans Advisory Committee, where he was able to work on policy issues helping veterans. And my colleague Greg Rodriguez recalls when he worked for Congressman Raul Ruiz that Daryl James was also involved in the Congressman's Veterans Advisory Committee. Recently, we had the opportunity to honor the volunteer drivers of the Veterans Express service that gets so many veterans over to their medical appointments in Loma Linda, and Daryl James was also a volunteer driver for that. And so I knew he wasn't well to attend that honoring, but it means so much to us, Tom, that you were able to make sure he knows how much we appreciate what he does, and to present that to him, and just to know that he has made a very big impact in our community and throughout his life, for his love of his country that led him to serve our nation, and for his veterans and everything that was important to him. And it's I'm just really moved to hear all that he's done for others, and I appreciate this time to say a few words.
Thank you,
about
thank
it.
you, thank you.
you. Thank you, thank you. You want to talk about that here?
Okay, we do have the. As time is going on, things are going very well. I have Miguel is coming from Eduardo Garcia's office to present another certificate. So why don't you hold these and he will explain.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Miguel Romero, and I'm a field representative with the Office of Assembly Member Eduardo Garcia. It truly is a privilege to be able to be here today and be able to pay homage to the life and legacy of Daryl James. I had the privilege of meeting him on several occasions, and on every one of those occasions, he had profound impact on me with his words and his stories, and I'm sure many of you have similar experiences with him. On one occasion that I recall vividly was how he shared the story of realizing that he was a gay man in the 1940s. Wow, that was still not acceptable, and having to cope with that. That was during the dedication of our LGBTQ benefit memorial, a ceremony that Daryl was very heavily involved in, and a dedication that we really, for Daryl and others like him, wanted to make sure that we were paying tribute to them. So today we have some certificates of recognition on behalf of Assembly Member Eduardo Garcia in honor of Daryl's service, and also in memory of his life and legacy.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to conclude this portion of our service by having a song. I have JB here, and he's going to sing Eternal Father for us.
Well, as a fellow Navy veteran, I know that no memorial service is complete without the Navy hymn. So, Daryl, this is for you. Eternal Father, strong to save, whose arm hath bound the restless wave, who bids the mighty ocean deep its own appointed limits keep. Oh, hear us when we cry to thee, for those in peril on the sea. God, who dost still the restless foam, protect the ones we love at home. Provide that they should always be by thine own grace both safe and free. O Father, hear us when we pray for those we love so far away.
I think all of us in the room share a special thing that many people these days do not share, and that is service to the United States in the military. Right now there's only about 1% of our country that is fighting in the military, and I think that's a sad statement of where we are, but I'm sure that that will change. But I honor you all as we end this today. Thank you for coming, and we will see you at our next event.